Hi YouTube, my name is Heather and I love anti-MLM content here on YouTube. Today I'm really excited for us to watch a quick video from Frazer Brookes when he's at Eric Worre's GoPro Recruiting Mastery. I'm really excited to watch this video, and as always, let me know what you think down below.
So step number 3 is objections. So you find someone, you add them, you message them, you see if they're open. The majority of people are either going to ghost you or say, I'm not interested. Right? Ghosting, we'll come to that in a second. So recently,
Frazer, why do you think people are going to ghost you? It's because they know network marketing is a scam and they know you're either trying to sell them something they don't need that's extremely overpriced, or you're going to recruit them into your downline, and then they'll be part of a pyramid scheme where they're going to lose money. Because unfortunately, or fortunately for us, more and more people are aware of how harmful and fraudulent the MLM business structure is, and more people know what signs to look out for and know not to be pulled into the scheme.
Recently, I was on a flight from Frankfurt to Manchester. Anyone ever been to Manchester before? Ugh, yeah, it's not great. Anyone been to Frankfurt before? Right, cool parts of the world. Go, I highly recommend it. Now,
Unfortunately, Frazer, the majority of people at this GoPro Recruiting Mastery aren't going to be able to afford to run around the world just because you recommend it, because we know the vast majority of people there are losing money or making no money.
I was on a Ryanair flight. Now, Ryanair Airlines is one of those airlines where the price of you adding baggage to your flight is more than the actual flight. It's just weird. $20 for a flight, $50 for hand luggage. What? But what I was doing, I was sat on 11C, and I noticed, you go up in the air, it goes bing, and the air hostesses, they get out, they're always happy, depending on the airlines, but Ryanair, they're always like, oh yeah, this is great, can't wait, get the little trolley, and they start kind of wheeling around.
It's their job to be happy. Like, why is that even part of your point? I know you're just telling a story, but it's their job to be happy and welcoming, and that's why they're happy.
Wheeling up and down, they go, would you like a tea or coffee? No, okay. Would you like a tea or coffee? No. Okay. Would you like a tea or coffee? Yeah. How much are they? £5. £5? Look at too expensive. Okay. Does the air hostess go down and go, pilot, Mr. Jones in 3E just said the coffee was too expensive, what do I do? Have you ever seen that before? No. So why are you doing it?
Frazer, I know you're just trying to make a funny point, but you know that it's false and misleading. We know that stewardesses, flight attendants, they get paid for their time. I have heard in Canada, where I live, in some of the airlines, you don't get paid, unfortunately, until you take off, which is weird because flight attendants do a lot of work to get you into the plane and to get it set up safely, and it takes a long time for the airplane to actually take off. But based on my understanding, they get paid for at least the time that they're in the air, and they don't get paid more for every time someone purchases tea or coffee. And they're not also recruiting people to also be flight attendants, and the majority of their salary, because they actually get a salary, the majority of their salary, their hourly wage, is not dependent on the people in the flight being recruited to be flight attendants. So that's a big difference. It's so funny how MLM coaches and distributors like to compare MLM to other businesses, and there's no comparison unless the vast majority of your salary or your wage is based on recruiting others to do the same job that you're doing. I know what he's trying to do here. He's just trying to normalize objections in your everyday life and saying, look, this person doesn't cry about it, so why are you? But that person is still going to get paid for their time while they're in the air, at least, even if 200 people on the flight say no to their coffee. What do you think? I think it's an invalid argument, in my opinion. And lots and lots of people do have a fear of rejection, and it's completely natural and normal to be upset when people reject you and to be worried about looking dumb and worrying that you're not doing a good job. Because if you're taught that you need to recruit people to find success in your business and you're not able to recruit anyone, I feel like it's natural to be worried that you're not going to make any money, to start to question what you're doing wrong and to wonder how you can improve. And I think it's natural to be upset and go to your boss, your upline in this case, and to ask for advice. And I think he's kind of making fun of and invalidating very valid and real fears and worries about how you're going to make a living in your MLM business if you can't recruit. What do you think about this comparison between MLM objections to for either like selling, buying a product or joining the business to a flight attendant and everyone saying no to your coffee?
So here's the thing. If someone sees your message and doesn't reply, so you said, hey, are you open? They see your message, when that their little face icon appears there and you're like, ha, they've seen it, right? And then the dots start dancing. When they're typing? And then all of a sudden they stop and you're like, oh, what are they gonna say? And they don't send anything. And you're like, go on, what were you gonna say? Are you in? Think emoji. And then the dots start dancing again and you're like, oh yeah, this is it. I saw you dancing, I saw your dots dancing, I saw you typing. Don't get sucked into the dot dance. Don't.
And he's trying to be funny again, and I appreciate his humor, I guess, but people get sucked into the dot dance when they see people are typing and then they stop, because their livelihood literally relies on bringing other people into this scheme with them. And I could understand the desperation that someone could feel when they come into an MLM company and they're trying so hard just to do what their upline tells them to do and get their first recruit or even get their first business builder. I can imagine how desperate people may feel waiting for their potential prospects to respond to them and watching the little dot dance and watching for when people actually see their message. And he's trying to be funny, he's trying to be relatable, and I understand that that's fine, but I think it's, again, invalidating a really big issue in multi-level marketing, which is just the desperation that new people feel, because it's not their fault if they can't find people to join them. It's the fault of the business structure. It's the fault of market saturation. And that's not just within one industry, say like health and wellness. It's market saturation with the MLM industry in general that might make someone not want to join you. And you can't control whether people join you or not. You can't force someone, you can't show up at their house and force them to type in their social security number. That's not how it works. He's trying to be funny, but I think it's a little problematic as well.
What you want to do, you need to give them a little nudge, because some people, they see the message and then they put their phone down and they don't reply. Has anyone ever done that before?
That's a big narrative in network marketing, and that's fine. I often forget to reply to things or emails at work because I see an email and I go, oh, I can't even think about this right now. And then it's like 3 days later and I realize I forgot to write back. And then I just say sorry and then respond, right? But I wish coaches or MLM coaches, Beachbody coaches, MLM distributors would also teach their downline. People might have changed their mind, so leave them alone if they don't respond to you. But unfortunately, we've seen in tons of videos on my channel so far that they're taught to harass people until they say no. And Danielle Natoni, one of the top Beachbody coaches, says that she follows up until people die or buy. So you have to, unfortunately, block these people once you realize that they're trying to sell you an MLM product or get you to join their scheme. And they don't know it's a scheme necessarily, too. Let me just phrase that. I think vast majority of MLM distributors may not know the system that they're in and how harmful it is. And the fact that anyone they recruit is not likely going to find any level of financial success. But I feel like the people at the tops of these MLM companies have to know that the vast majority of their downline is losing money so they can be rich.
They don't have a notification, so they don't remember it there. Go onto the message, click the top where it says their name, and then change the chat color from blue to green or to red. Because what it does is it sends them a message to say, Frazer Brookes has just changed the message color from blue to green. So what?
I wanted to do this little video, one because of the flight attendant comparison and then this tactic. So changing the conversation color as a way to get someone who's ghosting you to respond. And that's just one of the many different methods, I guess, that we see MLM people talk about. Another one is the Facebook birthday message. So you say happy birthday to people on your Facebook as a way to restart or start a relationship and to make a connection and just start a conversation so you can potentially recruit them down the line. The other one, remember, was the green light challenge of Jesse Lee Ward, where you literally just message everyone who's online on Facebook. Another one that we saw in the business activity tracker training videos was if someone hasn't responded to you, or you send them a share cart and they don't respond, then you just start talking about something that you see on their Instagram, like, oh, I see that you and your daughter Emily were at a dance competition. How did it go? And then they see that notification and they go back into the conversation and see that they didn't respond to you, and then they might respond and actually stop ghosting you. What do you think?
What do they do? What the hell is that? Oh, his message! So the dots start dancing again, right? I reckon I'm doing that all right. Am I doing that as well? Oh, yes! Been practicing it all month.
So that's all I wanted to talk about today. What do you think about the comparison between MLM objections and objections of flight attendants who offer people tea or coffee and they say no, and like they don't go crying to the pilot? So why do you go crying to your upline? Maybe it's because flight attendants, their livelihood is not based on people saying yes or yes to tea or coffee, and they get paid either way. That's the big difference between 99% of industries and MLM. People get guaranteed pay most of the time, either hourly or a salary wage or a yearly salary, sorry. Even when I worked a very, very low paying job as a substitute daycare teacher, I still knew anytime I was working, I would get a set hourly wage. Didn't know how often I was working though, but I knew how much I was getting paid, and my hourly wage as a daycare substitute teacher was not dependent on me recruiting other people to also be substitute daycare teachers. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.